Welcome to the Split Decision podcast. This is episode 1. We're going to go over UFC 314. Going to go through the main card. I'm Alex.
I'm Liam.
I'm Tom. Right, Bryce Mitchell, Gene Silver.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be interesting because they have some personal beef. And I think John Silva is literally fired up for this fight. His striking is just on a different level. Very close to Topuria, I feel like. Good fundamentals. One of the best guys that has the best footwork at featherweight, in my opinion.
Yeah, they've really made it personal after that press conference.
Yeah.
And obviously Bryce Mitchell's got all the heat on him in the world.
You know, he said a few things, bit controversial.
But he's, to be fair though, I think it's made this fight probably the most. It's probably the one other than the main event everyone's sort of looking forward to the most.
Yeah, I agree.
Bryce Mitchell is like arguably, I don't know, he's so controversial at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's on like everyone's podcast, like every MMA pod he's on.
Yeah. He said some stuff. See, I don't know if he actually thinks it's personal or if he just wants to hype up the fight. What do you think?
It's quite known though, isn't it? Like if you're a submission guy, if you're a striker, you'll notice that in a lot of the press conferences they'll try and get the submission specialist to
Like aggravate them.
Yeah.
I think Gene Silver knows exactly what he's doing. I think Gene Silver is I think, like you say, he just wants to get the crowd behind him a little bit. I think he's kind of easily playing the good guy here because how is Bryce Mitchell ever going to be the good guy?
Sort of buying into that narrative.
But he's kind of just building. I think he's building hype for it. But I also, like you say, just think he's trying to get under his skin a little bit there.
Well, if you look at like the fighting nerds, Gene Silver's sort of the one that's the most under the radar, in my opinion. Anyway.
You think?
Yeah, like Chao Bralho is obviously high ranked now. Paratas is smoking everyone.
I think they're on a similar level right now because he just came off a good win. Paratas came off a good win. Borralho is the first guy to sort of.
Yeah, but look who Paratas is coming off off wins off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
a much higher level. But for me, this is his way of getting like won over by the crowd.
Yeah.
You know he's going to be cheered regardless.
Exactly.
If he flatline KOs him as well, it's going to be highlighted everywhere.
Yeah.
I think this is the best time for him to fight him, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
But also I think it's the best time for Bryce Mitchell to fight. Like he's never been on podcasts so much. He's never been so vocal.
Who's the underdog for this?
Bryce Mitchell massively.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bryce Mitchell massively. I think that's just because of the Emmett knockout.
Yeah.
Mainly, like Bryce Mitchell. I think Bryce Mitchell's actually a really underrated fighter.
He had a lot of hype behind him, didn't he, Bryce Mitchell?
Yeah.
Like before he got knocked out, I feel like he had a lot more hype behind him.
He won against Edson Barboza. You know,
he smoked Barboza in a decision, didn't he?
Yeah, heavy striker. We can't forget those wins as well. Like,
and then obviously he lost to Topuria. Topuria actually submitted him, but he dropped him before it.
Dropped him
and then he's got that win over Gracie in his last fight. But fucking hell.
I feel like people forget about that win.
Yeah.
Everyone's still talking about that Emmett loss, but he obviously won against Gracie as well, which is a massive win.
Right, so final predictions, who we got?
Gene Silva, KO.
Yeah, Gene Silva KO for me.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes.
Yes. Okay, this one's, again, really good. I feel like all these main fights are really good on 314. I like Reyes because if you followed his career, he sort of, been knocked out 3 times in a row. And then he climbed back up, 2 good wins, and now he's sort of back on top of that mountain. If he wins against Nikita Krylov, he's going to be next in line, sort of top 5, I feel like.
I'd agree with top 5. I wouldn't agree like next in line. He's coming off wins off like Anthony Smith and Dustin Jacobs.
Okay, not next in line yet, but pretty close. Because Krylov, he's top level in it, so he's like... He's the guy.
He's in and around there. He really needs to fight like a Khalil Roundtree after this. Or even a Hill, but he can't be getting the title shot off that. Like Anthony Smith, everyone beats Anthony Smith. To me, Dustin Jacobs is even a more impressive win than that.
I think he puts his name back in the hat though, doesn't he? He puts his name in that like upper end of that division.
Yeah.
More than he is now, because like I don't deem Dominic Reyes as like as somebody who I think is going to get anywhere near there unless he wins a fight like this.
And also that win over Jacoby, I feel like we just looked past it, but Jacoby was a Glory. Was he a champion in Glory? He was.
Is Jacoby the one who lost a split decision to Roundtree and he should have won it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he should have won that fight.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, he's beat Roundtree.
Jacoby's one of the best kickboxers.
Roundtree.
He has. Like if you watch that fight,
it was close. It was close. Yeah.
I think he's underrated. I think Dominic Reyes is underrated.
Very underrated.
I don't think he's very liked since like the John Jones stuff.
yeah, like that was
Like
Yeah.
the general media, I think
Yeah.
since he's kind of
He
came
was
out.
quite salty about that
since
loss, to be
yeah,
fair.
I mean John Jones. I think there was a bit he spoke about it recently. He spoke about Reyes
Yeah.
recently about how he'd lost so many fights since the John Jones fight. The next three.
Yeah.
yeah. I remember Jones speaking about how in that fight he thought about giving up
Yeah.
and just like getting the decision,
Yeah,
and obviously
yeah,
came
yeah.
back and won. Well, for one, I don't think he beat. So I do think he beat John Jones.
I think he beat John
Yeah.
Jones too.
But since then, obviously, he lost to Blachowicz, he lost to Yuri.
Yuri.
Which is
and
insane. Could you
Ryan
imagine?
Spann.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine he'd beat John Jones and then lost to them three people? It would make John Jones.
But it
look
would have been
so
a different
bad.
trajectory, you know
I
what
don't
I mean?
think he would have lost.
You don't think he would have?
No, I don't. I think so too, because like, I think it's a confidence thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he was sort of banking too much on that win, but
To
he
carry him
fought
through,
he
yeah,
thought
yeah.
he won,
Yeah.
and he wasn't focusing on his next opponents. You know what I mean?
And if we're talking about Krylov hasn't fought since 2023.
Exactly.
So he's coming off a win over Ryan Spann.
Yeah.
If you're looking at like similar losses, Reyes lost to Ryan Spann, that was his last loss.
Yeah.
Krylov's coming off that win. Before that, he fought Ozdemir. I think Ozdemir's an underrated fighter in that division. He's a bit of a
very
gatekeeper.
good. He's so like technical.
Krylov's I think Krylov's got the better wins currently, but he hasn't fought in 2 years. This is sort of I'd say it's a bit of a pick'em.
The thing with Krylov is though he's got really good kicks. I feel like Reyes needs to be careful, because he's a karate or taekwondo style based fighter.
Yeah.
He's got them side kicks. You know, Reyes is he's got a soft body in it. He's got
a soft
he's got like a long torso, so he's very hittable here in this area.
Yeah.
But I still think he gets it done.
I think Reyes gets it done too.
I think Reyes by TKO.
I agree. I literally agree.
I'll go the opposite way. To me, Krylov's wins are more impressive. He's coming off 3 in a row. He never had that swing of losses like Reyes did. Beating Anthony Smith to me doesn't prove anything in 2025. It's just sort of like if I'm looking at both of them in their careers now, you've got Reyes who's 35, you've got Krylov who's 32.
But I think
They're very similar in like they had a losing streak and now they're winning. But for me, I've just got to go Krylov. His wins have been better. Reyes,
I think it's a confidence thing with Reyes as well. He's got all the skills. He can beat every single fighter in that division, I feel like. But right now, he has that confidence. 2-fight win streak. On top of his game, against a Nikita Krylov. He's beaten similar fighters, similar style of fighters before.
How old is Reyes? How old's Reyes?
35.
But it's
It's his
like,
last shot in it. It's his last shot now, isn't
it is light heavyweight though, so these guys are sort of more...
Yeah.
If you think like DC, well, Glover won the title at 42.
Yeah.
And they all seem to peak a bit older, but
The heavier the weight class, the higher in age they get.
to me, we've seen Reyes' worst, and
Yeah.
to me that's been a lot worse than Krylov.
I think it's past him, you know what I mean? I think it's over that. I think mentally he's up here now. I don't think he's gonna lose.
I'll go second round knockout Krylov.
Ooh.
I still doubt him after them losses.
I'm going to third round TKO Reyes.
I'm going Reyes TKO.
Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. I don't know too much about Patricio, so I'm going to hand this over to you.
Yeah, so I'll start with Pitbull. Obviously coming over from Bellator. Bellator has totally ran into the ground, basically. It's gone. He's 37, has to be mentioned. The question is with Pitbull, although he's probably the best fighter that Bellator ever had, he is still 37 in a lighter weight class. So does he still have that explosiveness? Does he still have the power? That's the question. Against a tall, rangy striker like Yair Rodriguez. And Pitbull's only losses have been against tall strikers. That's my only concern.
Yeah, he's got losses obviously at AJ McGee,
Yeah.
Sergio Pettis.
Pat Curran,
To me, Pitbull sort of primes behind him. His
Yeah.
prime was when he was beating Chandler. That's when he should have moved over to the UFC.
Yeah,
I think he's
I agree.
only. I think he stayed in Bellator too long. I think he could have had a decent career if he'd have come over sooner.
He stayed way too long.
Yeah, I think sort of the only reason he has come over is because it folded.
Mm-hmm.
And they've thrown him Yair Rodriguez, who seems to do well against shorter strikers other than Volkanovski.
It's a clear tactic by the UFC to set him up against a guy that he would potentially struggle against.
Like I can see it going very similar to when Yair beat BJ Penn.
Yeah, but you can also look at it. You remember Rodriguez fought Frankie Edgar.
Yeah.
So if Pitbull implements the same game plan, take it to the ground and pound, that's his one chance to win, I feel like.
But what I would argue back with that is, that's Frankie Edgar.
Yeah.
In his prime. This is an aging Pitbull at the end of his career. You've got to also look at his wins against like Jeremy Stevens, a very similar stocky fighter.
Yeah.
Who Yair beat. However, Yair's coming off that Volkanovski knockout, where he's also a similar build to Pitbull, but obviously that's Volkanovski.
That's Volkanovski.
Different level.
Yeah.
But then he's coming off to that loss to Brian Ortega.
Yeah.
Like Brian Ortega was outstriking him.
Yeah.
And then took him down. Like that was such an impressive win from Brian Ortega.
I think Pitbull sort of wants to prove he's still got something left in the tank. I feel like it's his last shot, and he made it clear that if he wins this fight, he wants to fight for the title next. He wants to fight. I mean, he said Volkanovski, but it depends obviously if Volkanovski wins against Lopes. He wants to be the next one in line. I feel like he could get past Rodriguez. He's good on the ground. He's a good striker. He's got good cardio. He doesn't really have any weaknesses.
It's the perfect time for him fighting. Like he's coming off them losses. That Ortega loss does not sit right with me, personally. Like Ortega, obviously he's only really lost to the best of the best.
Yeah.
But
was it a matter of Ortega being that good, or was it just Yair being not good enough on that day? Because I feel like Yair just wasn't himself.
Like look what Yair did to Josh Emmett.
Yeah, exactly. That's prime Yair, innit? That's what he can do.
To me, it's Pitbull's perfect time to fight Yair, and it's Yair's worst time to fight Pitbull. However, I just see Yair either taking him to a decision, keeping at range, throwing flashy kicks out there, keeping him guessing, or just catching him with like a head kick on the way in, Pitbull dropping his head when he throws.
Yeah, I'm thinking now, I actually think Yair's going to win this one. I think it's going to be a split decision. You know why? I think he's going to throw kicks at him, but Patricio's going to eat all of them. He's going to come forward, trying to take him down. And then third round is going to be, they're both going to be bloodied up. They're going to be in the clinch, throwing elbows, throwing knees. But I think Yair's got the better gas tank. I think he's going to outsmart him at the end.
Yeah.
It's going to be a close fight, I feel like. It's not going to be a finish.
I mean, like I said, Yair's recent losses don't do him any justice. Obviously, it's against the top of the division.
Yeah.
But you look at his fight with Chan Sung Jung, that last minute knockout.
Yeah.
The elbow.
He was losing that fight, wasn't he?
Yeah. Literally knocked him out last second, upwards elbow after slipping across.
Yeah.
You've got his wins over Jeremy Stevens. Jeremy Stevens is still no joke. He's actually back in the UFC now.
He's back, yeah.
Yeah, he won bare knuckle, didn't he?
Yeah. Like,
so mad.
Yeah.
If you look at his last 5 fights, Ortega, Volkanovski, Emmett, Ortega and Holloway, Pitbull has not fought that caliber.
Yeah, the only two guys are AJ McKee and Michael Chandler.
Yeah,
the only top,
you probably could
top
argue
guys.
Pettis would be up there if he was in the
Sergio
UFC.
Pettis, and he's a bantamweight. Yeah. That's a bad loss.
Who's winning? Who's what's your decision?
I got Yair split decision.
I got Yair by knockout, probably second round. I actually think it might make it look easier than you think.
Can I mention something? You said by knockout, but Yair doesn't have. I know he's got good kicks, but he doesn't have that many actual knockouts. He's got wins. He's dropped people, but he's knocked out Andre Feely. That was ages ago. Who else has he knocked out?
He didn't knock Josh Emmett out, but he did all the damage leading up to submission.
Yeah. So I don't know. Against a tough guy like Patricio, you think he's going to be able to knock him out? He might drop him, but
this is Patricio at the end of his career.
Still got a good chin. Like he's never really.
I don't think it'll be from anything like. I don't think it'll be like a TKO. I think it'll be a straight KO. I think he'll catch him with like a flying knee or a head kick. Like I said,
okay.
I could see Pitbull sort of throwing his head low. Yeah, he is tricky. It won't be like a Holloway knockout. It won't be volume. I think he'll just catch him clean.
Strong prediction that, I think. At least we've got the same guy winning. The same guy winning, just in a different way. Innit?
Off our arguments, who you going with?
Unanimous decision. Yeah.
So you all agree that Yair is going to win.
I mean, I don't know much about Pitbull, so I'm not gonna sit here and go Pitbull's gonna put his head down and swing for him, because I don't know too much about him.
Yeah.
Pitbull was just great 5 years ago, 7 years ago.
Nah, I would say his last win was a TKO against Jeremy Kennedy, which is, I know it's not like a top name, but he was a up and comer, 3-fight win streak, striker. He knocked him out in the second round. That's his last fight. That was 2 years ago or 1 year ago. So I don't think he's done yet, but I don't think he's gonna be.
It's a big test. It's a big test.
Yeah, it's a big test.
He's in the big leagues.
Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett.
Ooh.
What are we saying?
This fight is really gonna show the level of either Paddy Pimblett or Michael Chandler. I feel like Paddy Pimblett has a lot to prove, because a lot of people are writing him off, saying that he's all hype. He's not that good of a fighter. If he wins against Chandler in spectacular fashion, he's up there. He's gonna be contending. He's gonna be in the top, let's say top 8 of that division, which is one of the toughest divisions in the UFC. For Michael Chandler, same for him. He needs to win this fight as well. If he loses this fight, he's gonna be 6-2-4 or something like that, 2-5.
I agree. I think Michael Chandler needs to win this. I think if Michael Chandler doesn't win this, then Paddy Pimblett's not going to go. I don't think Paddy Pimblett's going to win this in like super uber spectacular fashion to where he's going to knock him out in the first round or sub him in the first 3 minutes. I don't think that's going to happen. So I think if Chandler doesn't win this, then I think it's just I don't think Paddy Pimblett gets enough credit versus. So if he does lose, I think it's just going to be like, oh, you got beat by Paddy Pimblett.
Exactly.
I still don't feel like no matter what Paddy Pimblett does, unless he does beat the top 5, the kind of guys, I still don't think he's going to get the recognition I think he deserves.
Yeah, the thing with Chandler is as well, like, he's only got one style, and he can't seem to change up his style. Like, he fights one speed only.
Yeah.
And he's got 2 punches in his arsenal, which is a big overhand right and a left hook. That's it. He goes for a double leg takedown. He doesn't fight smart at all, and he never will. He's 38. He's not going to change his style. You know what I mean? Against Paddy Pimblett, who is a way more intelligent fighter, we saw that against Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green. He's way more calculated, and he's got a good ground game as well, and he's got a better gas tank. So I think Paddy Pimblett can get this one done.
Right. Besides all that. Besides all that,
wipe it off the table.
Yeah, besides all that, yeah.
Forget everything we just said.
On his day, Michael Chandler can beat anyone. I know.
You also said he was going to be a champion at 155.
Right.
He said he's going to be the next champ.
Right. On his day, though, I know his fight IQ is terrible, but he's thrown away all of them losses except the last Charles fight. That's the first time I truly seen him get dominated.
But
so
that's all we go off.
No. So. He came into UFC, knocked out Hooker. Hooker he's a tall, rangy striker with his chin up in the air. What is Paddy Pimblett?
How many times? Okay.
Hooker's a tall, rangy striker, a much better striker than Paddy Pimblett. Obviously, this is a different Dan Hooker than we've got currently.
Yeah.
Also. You cannot compare him then till now, but he's got that very similar build. The first Charles fight, he dominated that first round. He dropped Charles. He then got caught in the second. He didn't get the finish because that's where his fight IQ is terrible. Against Gaethje, how many times did he drop Gaethje? Against Poirier, how many times did he drop Poirier? He also got caught as well, which I think Paddy has that power.
Yeah.
However, we've seen Paddy get dropped and hurt off lesser strikers. His first fight in the UFC against Van der Reme, he got dropped.
Yeah, true.
But he got caught.
Yeah.
Against the cage. Once he was getting pushed back, I think, to me, Chandler does not fear Paddy. Not like he does Charles. That was the first fight I've seen Chandler be so hesitant to throw because of how good Charles' striking is. Obviously, I know Charles has got all these submissions, but I think people forget how good of a striker he is.
But could that not be his downfall, though? Could underestimating him and not being worried about him be
You
his
mentioned
problem?
something before as well. I feel like Chandler is a one-round fighter. He's a first-round fighter, in fact. I feel like if he doesn't get his opponent out there in the first round...
You could say the same about Paddy. I know Paddy's got Paddy's got decisions, yeah? He got tired against Tony Ferguson. He took Tony... Like, look at his wins, right? Jordan Levitt... Look how they've aged, mate. Jordan Levitt is not a high level. He then went. He
hold
lost
on.
to Jared Gordon. He lost to Jared
No.
Gordon. Tony Ferguson.
Jordan Levitt, before he fought Paddy, his record was like, what, 4-0 in the UFC? All finishes? He's a submission guy, by the way.
But look how he's done since.
First of all, can we all agree that Chandler can't beat Paddy on the ground?
No,
he
he
can't
can't.
submit
It's
him.
impossible.
Okay,
No,
so that's
impossible.
Okay, that's gone, right? That's gone out of the window. So the only chance Chandler has is by KO. If Paddy survives that first round, what does Chandler have? His gas tank is shit. Like, you know what I mean? That goes out of the window. He's going to do a double leg slam, and everyone's going to go crazy, and he's going to lose by decision. That's what's going to happen.
But we've seen Paddy, right? So Paddy lost the decision to Jared Gordon. Yes, he got injured. I'll give him that credit, but we all agree he lost that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
He then went to a decision with Tony Ferguson, which he got gassed in as well. He was tired of Tony Ferguson, and then he's beat Bobby Green.
But Chandler is the same though. He's got the similar gas tank.
No, I know, but look
You know what I mean?
look who Chandler's fighting.
I just think you can't go off who Paddy's fought because he's still on his way up. And obviously Chandler. Oh, don't get me wrong. Chandler's beat.
All we can do is go off who he's fought. Look how good he's looked in his losses. He nearly beat Charles. Literally, he nearly beat.
But
He nearly beat everyone.
Look how
Yeah, I know he
his
has.
losses. He's nearly beat everyone.
Exactly.
I've got an argument for that, actually. I've got a really good argument for that.
Go on then.
Who hasn't dropped Charles? You know what I mean? Poirier has dropped Charles.
No, he's looked good in all of his fights though. He's looked good in every fight.
But
There's a world, There's a world where Chandler smokes Paddy. There's a world where he smokes everyone. He's not done it.
is it in the same universe? Or-
Yeah.
I do agree. I know what you're saying. I think I do agree. Chandler can knock anybody out, but like
He's not doing
he's
it.
not doing it.
Like,
How come he didn't just knock out Charles Oliveira then?
exactly. Like,
Do you know what I mean? Like, how come he didn't cleanly knock him out? Because
you-
we know he can do it. So why didn't he?
you're talking about something that hypothetically could have
Yeah.
happened, but didn't
We're
happen.
making predictions. This
Exactly.
is all hypothetical. Listen,
that's why I'm
Listen. Once he does it, right, Paddy has his chin up in the air. Paddy gets caught every fight
Yeah.
of lesser fighters than Chandler. Lesser strikers than Chandler. So to me, and Paddy isn't going to change the way he fights. He hasn't done. That Bobby Green fight, has made us all forget. He lost to Jared Gordon. He went to a decision with Tony Ferguson. He's not looked good in the UFC. I think Paddy's a great fighter. I really do. I just think this is a bad matchup. I would pick Paddy in other fights,
Yeah.
but against Michael Chandler.
But sorry, just to interject, I have to interject. So you're saying Michael Chandler is going to clock Paddy, okay? So let's say he does. Michael Chandler's clocked the last 10 people he's fought. But
Right.
how many wins has he got? So he can still
That's
still
all that
clock
matters,
him.
really,
He can
isn't
still
it?
clock him,
Yeah.
but he's clocked everybody, and he still hasn't won the fight. So let's say he does clock Paddy. Well, why does that mean he's going to win?
And the argument you made as well, he's not changing his style. I mean, same goes for both guys, isn't it? Because you say Paddy is not improving, but Chandler isn't improving.
So, but what do you expect? Do you expect Paddy to submit him?
No, I think it's going to
I
be a
think Paddy's
decision.
going to sub him. I think Paddy's going to sub him. I
Charles
genuinely
Oliveira
think
couldn't.
I think Paddy's going to sub him.
Charles didn't.
I think Paddy's so unique off his back. I think he's so unique off his back.
I don't think he's going to submit him, but he's going to win.
I
though.
think he's going to sub him.
I think
I
he's
think
going
he's going to sub
I think
him.
he's going to beat him, but not. I don't think he can submit Chandler. I mean, his
But
neck is fucking dense. as
How
fuck,
impressive!
Choke him out,
But no. Bobby Green never been subbed. He'd never been subbed.
It's Bobby Green, man.
But he'd
I
never
don't-
been subbed, and he said he was going to go in there and do it.
This
and he
is
did
this
it.
is like Chandler. Chandler's good, man.
But what you're telling
He's-
me is Chandler's fought the best and gotten beat.
Right.
Whereas
We'll
Paddy's,
find out.
what
We'll
we're
find
basing
out,
it
won't
off.
we?
that's what
Right.
we're based on.
Yeah.
So I'll go Michael Chandler, first round knockout. I think. I'm telling you, Michael Chandler, first round knockout. I think he blitzes him. I think he goes. I don't like Paddy going backwards. I think Paddy does better when he's going forwards. I think Chandler doesn't fear him. I think we'll see this in the press conference. There's no doubt in Chandler's mind he's beating him. I think again that Charles fight, he was hesitant because of the previous knockout, and that's why Chandler shit himself. He shit himself in that Charles fight. This can be a different fight. Yeah, Chandler's gonna knock him out.
If it goes past first, does he win?
Yeah,
You think he
Really?
wins if it
Yeah.
goes past first?
Nah.
You think he wins?
Yeah.
Come on,
Oh, you
Alex.
can't say that with a straight
I'm
face.
telling you, man.
You can't do it.
We'll see in it.
How does he win? Like,
I think he knocks him out.
Regardless, you think
I think
it's
Paddy
gonna end.
Paddy hasn't shown a great gas tank. I don't know where he's getting this from.
No, I don't disagree, but
No,
I just
no.
think Chandler's even worse.
exactly. They both don't have a great gas tank, but I think Chandler's he's so explosive that he just blows his load in the first round. You know what I mean?
don't know how he's 55. I don't know how he's a 55.
Exactly. Fucking, the guy's dense as
I don't
fuck,
know how he's
like.
a 50. Liam, what's your prediction?
Paddy by unanimous decision, I think.
I'm going Paddy sub in the second round.
Right, you'll agree, right? That is a more ridiculous decision
No
than my
way.
first round knockout.
No way.
The thing is, though, you know how he caught Bobby Green, and you know how reckless Michael Chandler is. If he flies in, you know he loves doing them double leg takedowns.
I don't think.
Mate, he's done one against Tony Ferguson, and then he has not done that.
Bobby Green, Tony Ferguson.
No,
I think
Chandler.
Oh, Chandler.
Chandler's only done that again. He did that spear on Tony Ferguson.
Poirier as well. Gaethje. He's done it multiple times.
Oh, he did it against the cage, didn't he?
He's reckless. That's the problem. He's reckless.
Chandler can beat everyone in that division. He just doesn't.
But
he can, man.
He's been saying that since
No
2000.
way,
What?
no way.
Since
I'm
I
gonna
came
keep
into the
saying
gym,
it.
2024. He's been saying
No way, no way.
Main event. I'm announcing this one. Alexander the Great Volkanovski, 26-4, the greatest of all
I
time
can
at
already hear the
featherweight
bias. I can hear the bias already.
against Diego Lopes. So for me, right, I'm getting this one started. Volk. People have forgot, man. People have forgot, right? He's coming off.
It's not like Lucas Tracy.
I think you've forgotten.
No, listen,
I
right.
think you've
Right.
forgotten.
that CTE
Listen,
kicking
no,
in.
people have forgot. He's coming off that knockout to Topuria. We've seen Topuria knock out Holloway. This is what he does. Yeah. To me, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, Topuria's going to be knocking everyone out. He's going to go up and knock Makhachev out, right?
Yeah.
And he's also coming off that loss to Islam. It was a head kick. So I think a lot of people are seeing these knockouts and thinking Volk's chin's gone. He got knocked out by the best striker in the division, and he got knocked out by a head kick. Who doesn't get knocked out by them? The guy knocked out Holloway.
Yeah.
Before that, look at his performance against Yair Rodriguez. That's very similar to how I see this fight going. Volk was back to his best, coming off that split decision loss to Makhachev, which he shouldn't have lost. Volk won that fight. But look what he did to Holloway. Lopes has not fought anyone the calibre of Volkanovski. How can you? He's the second best in the division. He hasn't fought Topuria yet. But Lopes is coming off a decision win to Brian Ortega. He didn't knock. I know he knocked him out, and then the second punch woke him up.
Yeah.
He's coming off that decision win to Danny Ige on 2 hours' notice. Yeah. Like, I think Lopes is a killer, but if it's a big if it's the same Volkanovski we know, I think Volk makes it look comfortable. Yeah. So, like, other than Topuria, Volk is outstanding. He's my favourite fighter of all time. I am biased.
We can tell, yeah.
But he's beating Diego Lopes. He's winning that title back. He's then gonna fuck it off, go up to lightweight. He's gonna beat Max for that BMF belt.
He used to be at that weight, you know.
Who?
Volkanovski.
Oh yeah, when he was a fat.
He was at like 185 at one point.
No,
right?
like two something, like 214 or something like that.
Yeah, to me, I just think these. We forgot how good he is off them 2 losses. He stepped in against Makhachev last second. That I think he would have got caught by that head kick regardless of his weight. I don't think that was down to him being unprepared. And Topuria is just the next level. Yeah. So to me, I can't not back him.
Yeah, that's fair. I actually agree. I think Volkanovski wins as well, just because he's so. I watched an interview with him last time with his coach as well. He game plans the fuck out of every fight. He watches the opponent's weaknesses and sort of things that do, like, he capitalizes on that. Same as he did with Yair with the kicks, as you said. Yair likes to throw that kick and he's wide open in it. So he countered that kick with a punch. And with Lopes, he's very reliant. When we talk about striking, he only throws hooks. Have you noticed? He's hook heavy. And I feel like Volkanovski is going to game plan specifically for that.
I think this is a lot more comfortable than I think the general narrative is. I think Volk's a lot better than everyone is giving him credit for. I think you look at the Makhachev fight. I mean, we referenced it earlier about confidence.
Yeah.
But I think you look at the Makhachev fight, and I think he was so unlucky in that first one. I think he won the first fight as well.
Yeah, it was a close one.
I think he won it anyway, because I mean I think when
I think it could have gone either way, but yeah.
I think it could have gone either way, but I think Makhachev got a lot of credit for like taking his back, but actually he didn't. He literally didn't do anything with his back.
With it, yeah.
If anything, Volk did more, and they were like the deciding rounds.
Yeah.
So I personally think he beat Makhachev in the first one. I think it was crazy going into Makhachev with 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was gassed on me.
I was well.
Yeah.
I think we spoke before it. I was well excited for that fight, but I think now when you actually look at it, probably a bit of a silly decision.
Yeah.
And then like we referenced about confidence, I just don't think it did him any favours getting beat like he did from Makhachev and then going straight into a fight like Ilya.
He had the Yair one in between. I think we're all forgetting that. Like he smoked Yair.
Yeah.
Yair fought coming off that win off Emmett. I didn't think Yair beat Emmett.
Yeah.
Yair looked good, and then Volk
One of his
scored him.
best
See, I thought to be fair, actually, you remind me. I thought that Yair could have had him. I thought it was a perfect time for Yair to get him.
Yeah.
And he dominated him.
Yeah.
Quite surprised most people are going with Volk. Like the narrative at first was like it's a bad matchup,
Yeah.
and I'm quite glad they're doing it. I wanted to see Lopes. I didn't want to see a Volk rematch with Topuria, and I wanted to see Lopes get one more win before Topuria as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's dropped the belt now, so I don't really know what Volk does after this. I mean, he could stay at featherweight if he does win the belt and fight maybe like an Allen or Laurel Murphy the way he's going.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll just go up though? Do you think he'll go 55? Do you think if he wins this he'll go 55?
Topuria's there though.
But then he runs into Topuria.
Makhachev.
But I feel like the way Volk is though, he's not just going to roll over and go, oh yeah, Topuria's there, so I'm not going to do that. I don't think he's like that. I mean, you look at
I think you go for the BMF belt. He is that if the UFC. He turned up 1 week notice to fight Makhachev.
Yeah.
He took him to a decision.
1 or 2 weeks.
I agree, but I think he's more bothered about trying to get revenge than he is getting a BMF belt. I think he's beyond that.
I don't want to see him fight Topuria again. I
don't want to say that, to be fair.
I think Topuria runs through him, but I just think the way he is. Do you think he's done everything there is at featherweight? If he wins, what is there more?
because there's always a new guy in it. There'll always be a new contender.
And then somebody's eventually going to beat him, and then what does he just retire?
Exactly.
Like whoever he beats after this, what does that give him?
Obviously, I think we've all got the same pick with Volk.
Yeah.
However, it could drastically go wrong. And
I was going to get into that as well. What are the weaknesses that Volk possesses like that Lopes can capitalize on?
For me, it's confidence. It's momentum. Volk's at an all-time low. You seen him cry after the Makhachev fight.
I feel like he's really confident though.
Well, no, he said he was struggling with mental health after losing the Makhachev first fight, and he said when he's not in fight camp, his head goes. I think that revealed a lot, and then it's just sort of where is he at now? From his interviews, he seems good.
Yeah.
But he seemed good before the Topuria fight.
Yeah.
He's always speaking confident. He was doing the old man.
Yeah.
Dressing like the old man and doing all the videos. So it really depends where he's at.
I fucking wish he beat Topuria, man.
I don't.
I like Topuria, man.
Volk's my favourite.
Oh, man,
but
I love Topuria,
once Topuria beats Makhachev, it'll all be worth it.
How was Topuria? You know when he put Topuria, even changed his record beforehand, everything. Oh, I wish he beat him.
I love him, man.
I like Topuria.
I do like Topuria,
so
and I think it's probably a good exchange of like the baton. I think it's a good time for them to change that over. I think the only thing with this fight, I think where Volk could go amiss here is, I think he's been knocked out twice now, devastating.
Lopes could catch him eventually, but
devastating
round
knockouts.
1 maybe. If it goes past round 2, I feel like he's safe. If it's like, if he pours it on like he did with Ortega in round 1 against Volkanovski, then he's in trouble, I feel like.
But he couldn't get Ortega out of there. I know he knocked him out and woke him up.
Yeah.
But after that, he didn't capitalise on it.
But do you think Ortega's chin is better than Volkanovski's chin?
But Volk at this stage now, he's been knocked out twice. And I think it just miles on the clock.
No, but I don't think he's been knocked out because he got a bad chin. He's been knocked out because he got head kicked. And I'm dying on this sword. He got knocked out because he got head kicked. He got knocked out by the greatest boxer in UFC history. This isn't normal knockouts. This isn't.
Yeah, but we're not
a
talking.
flurry of
We're
punches.
not talking about skill level. We're talking about how his chin is now
Yeah.
after those 2 knockouts.
I
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't doubt that they're just a different level.
They
Like, they've knocked
obviously-
him out for like
Yeah.
they're crazy knockouts, aren't they? They're just different levels. But I just doubt, like, if you're gauging somebody's chin on a scale of 1 to 10, and let's say it always has been an 8, it might now just be a 6, and that might just be enough.
Yeah, I know Lopez
Exactly,
has been very impressive. Yeah,
Yeah.
but going to a decision with Danny Ige does not fill me with confidence that he's going to beat a Volkanovski. And I love Danny Ige. And going to a decision with Brian Ortega.
By the way, Lopez got 6 losses. We can't just skim past that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Evloev beat him, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Not for 1 second do I think Lopez is going to win. I'm confident that Volk will win.
Oh,
However,
I'm not.
I feel confident in him. I feel good for him.
I'm not confident, but I think if he makes it past round 1, he's gonna win. Like,
But if you're a Volk going into a big like Topuria fight, he's all hyped up. In round 1, he's going to be more. I just feel like he gets exposed a bit more in that. Whereas he's going to come into it reserved.
he was scared fighting.
He's not going to be.
Topuria.
He's not going to be the same fighter. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's
think,
coming off that head kick knockout, isn't it?
Yeah, he was scared. You
So-
saw how he's fighting Topuria. He was very hesitant.
But
He
you
didn't wanna
wonder if it's
throw.
going to be the same, but
I think he's going to be more hesitant. I don't think he's just going to go into this.
I'm very surprised. Like, I'm picking Volk, I'm rooting for Volk.
Of course,
However, I'm shitting it. Like, this is
you know
worst
what?
case
Me
scenario.
too. I actually, I'm not that confident. I still think he's gonna win, but
I'm picking Volk.
I'm scared that
I'm not turning on my guy on maybe his last fight. We've seen this trend now with featherweights.
Yeah.
Holloway, once he lost to Volk, lost them 3 in a row, more like two of the 3.
Yeah.
And then Volk's done the same now, where he lost to Makhachev and lost to. It seems to be this trend. Once they lose the belt,
at welterweight as well.
they're coming down. However, though, Holloway is someone who's shown a resurgence. He lost to Volk. He lost to Topuria. Obviously, he had that Gaethje win in the middle. I can sort of see it being similar to that, where Volk has this comeback fight now against Lopez, and just reminds everyone of who he is, how good he is.
Yeah.
He's the greatest we've ever seen. Even if you don't think he beat Makhachev, what he did against Makhachev was unbelievable.
Yeah. That's
It was
true.
one of the most impressive wins I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So to me, Lopez. He hasn't had the chance to show that yet, but a decision win against Ige and Brian Ortega, you've got to go with Volk. You've got to go with Volk For me, it's Volk decision.
I go Volk decision as
Same.
well.
Decision.
But I think split decision. I think split.
I think unanimous, but yeah, decision.
I think it might be. I think we'll get a worry in there at one point. Either way, I think they both will get dropped.
I don't know. Yeah.
Really? I think if Volk gets dropped, he's out.
I think so too. I just don't have faith in his body holding up.
I think if he gets dropped, he's out. I don't think he can take
I
too much
don't
more
think his
damage.
chin is there. Like, he's here, right? He's still there in his mind. But I
What
think
evidence have we had other than they've had a bad knockout? No,
That's our
Topuria knocks
evidence.
everyone. We've got no evidence.
How many?
that is our evidence.
But how many
because
times do you see 2 vicious knockouts like that, and then people come back
he
from
was
it?
out cold both times as well.
Yeah.
That's the issue. It's not a
They
TKO.
were dreadful
That was-
knockouts.
Those were brutal.
But they're like the
knockouts.
first of his career. I know he's an older fighter.
But he's an older fighter now as well.
And
I think
that's another thing to keep in consideration. He's getting older, being KO'd twice. As you mentioned, the confidence. Hey, but listen, I'm still going with Volk. I'm just
I'm still going
saying
with
those are the things that concern me about this fight. Those 3 things.
I'm less confident now, though. Now that we've discussed his chin,
Yeah.
I think split decision. I think split decision for me.
I still think
personally.
he gets it done, but
It's to me, it's a close fight. I don't see Volk
it's not a
finishing
pick 'em, that's
Lopez.
for sure. Yeah.
I don't see Volk finishing
No,
Lopez.
do I?
But I don't see Lopez finishing Volk. Okay, actually, I do. Maybe.
Fucking hell, I do.
No, I
That's
do,
the only
yeah.
way I
He
see
might knock
Lopez.
him out, knock
That's
him
the
out,
only
yeah.
way.
He might- Forget that,
I
yeah.
think if we weren't being
You might-
biased or we weren't rooting for who we want to, I think we might all be picking Lopez.
Nah, I don't think I'm being
Nah.
that biased. I don't think I don't think I'm as biased.
I'm actually not that biased. I think.
Oh, he scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
But that's because you give a shit about Volk. You want Volk to
You like
do well.
Volk, innit? Yeah.
But Volk's my favourite fighter ever. He's.
That's why.
I've never
that's why
enjoyed
it's-
watching someone's fights. That Makhachev fight, like, honest to God, I was up at 5 a.m. screaming.
I fell asleep when I shot.
Oh,
Yeah, but yeah.
It was unbelievable.
That's why, because you obviously your favorite fighter, you don't want him to lose, and you start thinking like, his weaknesses, you know, his chin, you know, Lopes, up and coming guy, good hands, fast, reach. He's got everything. He's got everything to beat Volk. But still, I don't think he's gonna beat Volk. I think Volk is so good at game planning. He's gonna prepare really well for him.
Yeah, I agree.
He's gonna capitalize.
I just think I think recency bias obviously filling us all with doubt, but we all agree in Volk decision, split decision.
Yeah.
Volk split decision.
Split decision. Actually,
You're going
unanimous.
split now.
Unanimous. Nah, unanimous.
I go unanimous. I'm not going to split.
He might
Fuck
win.
that. I don't need a split. It might be split, yeah, but we all think Volk won.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. Thank you for watching the first episode of the Split Decision podcast.
Yep.
Please put your predictions in the comments and
Make sure you give it a like if you like it. On to the next one.
yeah. Subscribe if you. We will be doing
like if you like it. Yeah.
Yeah, we will
Only
be doing.
if you like it, give it a like. If you don't like it, don't give it a like.
Yeah. If we will be doing these weekly, so please subscribe if you did enjoy the content.
See you on the next one.
Ciao.